All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where a comment was made about Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach and how this fight has such a huge demand for the fight after the last one. And an expert that I talked to said that he believes that that fight was probably the best thing that could have happened to Gervonta Davis, and he believes so for several reasons. Let's talk about that and also what Erickson Lubin had to say about Gervonta and Lamont Roach as he gave an interview to Mill City Boxing talking about his upcoming fight. Good to see him back in action. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, I want to talk about Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach's rematch. I had spoken with somebody that I consider an expert on the subject, has a little bit of inside information on it, and gave me a breakdown of exactly why he thought that this fight with Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach might be the biggest fight in boxing, and that how his performance in that last fight with Lamont Roach might be the best thing to ever happen to Gervonta Davis. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you guys so much. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks. It's a real great way to support the channel. But let's get into this, man, because, you know, not everything in sports is X's and O's. A lot of it is subjective. It's inside your mind. And, you know, things can happen in life that can really affect you and affect your self-confidence. Well, Gervonta Davis had an incident that could be considered that when he fought to a draw against Lamont Roach. An expert that I spoke to said that he believes that that could be the best thing that could have happened to Gervonta Davis, and he said it on multiple levels. One, he said the money for the next fight, just speaking of the money and the interest for that fight is going to be 1,000 times what it was in the first fight, because Gervonta Davis showed that he was a human being. And when you're a human being, you have an opportunity to lose or look bad or have an off night or what have you. But in that particular fight, Gervonta Davis fought about as poorly as Gervonta Davis had ever fought, and he was still able to get a draw, and many people think a win off Lamont Roach. But what it's going to do as far as his moving forward is it's going to make that rematch probably the biggest fight in the year for all of boxing. And that is including the ones where you have people just throwing away money, trying to lose money just to have the fight go on. But the Lamont Roach fight with Gervonta Davis has a potential to be just as big as the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. As crazy as that sounds, that's what this man said. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if it does somewhere around those numbers, because people number one, they overestimate the popularity of Terrence Crawford, right? And they underestimate the fall off that has taken place with Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez consistently refuses to give people the fights that people want to see. Canelo Alvarez for the last several years has been pretty much in retirement mode, and he has not touched, I don't believe that he has touched a million. He touched 1 million with, I think, Gennady Golovkin, and he touched 1 million with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? But this fight with Terrence Crawford is not a lot of push for it, not a lot of interest in it, as far as the people like really, you know, being into it and wanting to see that fight. Now, it may do better than Gervonta versus Lamont Roach, which should be taking place sometime around July, but that's not a guaranteed thing, man. It really isn't, because Gervonta has shown that in an interesting match, he can get 1 million pay-per-views. And this rematch, it's not going to be like the first one where people thought that it was thought it was going to be some mismatch. No, this time you have people that are going to sit there and sit on the edge of their seats, hoping Gervonta Davis loses the whole time, and they're more than likely going to pay. They're going to pay for it. So that, in my book, is, hey, somewhere you took lemons to lemonade. But also, if you look what's going on with Gervonta Davis in his training, he is totally focused. At least that's from the outside looking in. He's out with Coach Mustafa in Atlanta. He's working with Kevin Cunningham in Florida. Kenny Ellis and Calvin Ford are supposed to be going down there with him. Look, if he winds up getting out there and really having a terrific performance, it's going to exalt him to a higher position that he would have been in before he had that step back. And that kind of setback. And it wasn't a loss, but just a setback. If you look at the career of Muhammad Ali was bigger than he ever was when he had to fight himself back to get his championship after it was stripped from him in 1967. He came back. The first opportunity he had to win the title was against Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier drops him in the 15th. Ali loses the fight. But in climbing back up the hill to the George Foreman fight, he wound up being bigger than he ever would have been if he had never lost a fight, and if he had just continued, just coasted all the way to the end of his career. That's one thing about Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s career that I think is interesting too. Floyd also had an instant where some people thought he lost a fight with Jose Luis Castillo. He came back, dominated Jose Luis Castillo in the second fight, and that helped solidify his reputation as a great fighter as well. Well, now Gervonta Davis has a chance to prove it to himself and trying to figure out exactly how he is going to distance himself from Lamont Roach and make sure that this fight is not extremely close the way Lamont Roach wants to fight, to keep it that way. If he can do that, then he is going to get a boost of his own confidence and his ability to adapt and overcome struggles, right? In this particular fight coming up, I think the biggest challenge for him being Gervonta Davis, is going to be him keeping his focus and him not looking out into the crowd, talking into the crowd, listening to his trainer and keeping his eyes dead centered on Lamont Roach and focused on Lamont Roach the whole time. Because really, there has been a theme that Gervonta Davis has shown throughout his career, and that is he will lose focus. Maybe things in the ring are moving so slow for him that he feels like he can just kind of skip out and leave and get back real quick. But I don't think that that's a safe thing going into this fight with Lamont Roach, because there's going to be a lot of people looking just to give rounds to Lamont Roach for whatever happens. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, I'm loving the fact that this guy's going to run it back with Lamont Roach. I have a friend, my guy Fahim Zator, who was getting on me because at first I was like, man, Gervonta should just move on, go do something else. But nah, if somebody thinks they beat you and you really think that they beat you, you got to go on there and you got to handle your business and see if you can get past it. If Lamont Roach winds up being the better man in the second fight, then, hey, man, Lamont Roach wound up being the better man in the second fight, and it is what it is. They'll probably do a third. And any way it goes, more publicity, more money for Gervonta Davis's career. And at the end of the day, it could very well be the best thing that ever happened to him, that he got a foe that can be the bad guy to his good guy or the good guy to his bad guy. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.